Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the pandemic has been brutal on small businesses. That's why it's more important than ever that you support small business. This coming weekend on Small Business Saturday, we'll talk to an expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, as a small business owner myself, my heart goes out to all other small business owners. The pandemic has been brutal, supply chain issues, staffing issues, the cost of goods, and we all know a favorite restaurant that went out of business during the height of the pandemic. That's why it's more important than ever to support small businesses on Small Business Saturday, and that's coming up this weekend. I can't think of a better person to talk about than Jack Bradshaw. He is the president and CEO of the NE Tarrant Chamber. Thanks for coming on the show.
No, thank you for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
We're both passionate about small businesses, and I get it. There's a time and a place for Amazon and the big box store, but tell us about small businesses.
Well, small businesses, they make up about 43.5%, I think, of the national GDP. They create about 2/3 of all new jobs in the United States. There's 27 million small businesses. They make a huge difference. And when you think about what the small business person does, a lot of times they're coming from corporate America. They start out in corporate America and they look at the opportunity to create their own business, be their own boss. All that stuff looks really appealing. And there's a lot of advantages, right? You get to pick your staff, you get to decide how your business is run, but also you're working 80 plus hours a week. You are putting resources and money, your own money into it, and there's a lot of risk there. And so we have at the Chamber, we have just a tremendous amount of respect for those business owners, those brick and mortar business owners who put so much into and take so much risk when they start their own business.
And you do so much for small businesses through the Chamber. You were nice enough to invite me to speak. We've got a little video from last week, and I was so impressed with the turnout. I mean, you guys get 100 people, sometimes more, don't you?
Yeah, usually about 150. The pandemic has made that just a little bit lighter, but what we have, I know a lot of other chamber presidents too, and what you just have there is a community where people care about each other. They want other businesses to succeed. They want to support them. It gives them a chance to build their contacts and their relationships. And we think that's a lot of ensuring prosperity, is by building great relationships.
And you do a lot through social media and events to draw attention to your members. We've got some pictures of just ribbon cuttings, and that's just the beginning. I mean, it's you guys go out there, you give them tips and tools. They get a chance to interact with other members who like to support chamber members.
Well, a lot of times that business owner comes in and they start their business and they're really good at one thing, whether it's cooking Cajun food or cleaning windows or doing landscaping, whatever it may be. They're really, really good at that, but maybe they've never worked with QuickBooks before. Maybe they haven't worked with social media. Maybe they aren't real good at going out and finding new customers or creating marketing flyers and things like that. So we try to help them in a lot of different areas. We also do a lot of things to just really help them with their professional growth. And a lot of times we think, hey, if you're a better public speaker and you can go out and speak, and you can speak to Rotary and Kiwanis and Lions clubs, chambers, that sort of thing, that goes a long way toward building your business in the long run.
And you get what you put into it. I mean, if you become a chamber member and never attend anything, I always say you got to circulate to percolate. So it really pays.
I love that saying.
Thank you. It really pays to get out there and meet people, right?
It really does. You should, as a business owner, we know that you're in your business a lot, but we also say work on your business. So try to maybe one or two things a week. Do that to invest in working on your business and the growth of your business. Because yes, you're in there and you need to be in your business, but you also need to be out there as well, because that growth, that getting new customers, I mean, if you miss out on one customer, that may mean 10 referrals in the span of 10 years. So you've got to be out there all the time trying to attract new customers and really being part of your community. And what we've seen through the pandemic is how important community is. Those businesses that were already a part of the community, contributing to the school district, nonprofits, being part of the chamber, already had a lot of strong relationships. They weathered the pandemic much better than those businesses that did not have that.
Now, what did you experience during the height of the pandemic? Were your members staying in place? Were they dropping their membership? How was last year for you?
Well, we showed a lot of grace, and we said we're not going to put a big emphasis on trying to renew people. We are here to help. We teamed up with our cities. We really got to know the CARES Act and the Paycheck Protection Program because there was a lot of confusion there. So we brought together CPAs, we brought together bankers, we brought together Tarrant County officials and government officials to really explain what that was, because what there was more than anything else was a whole lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. And so by trying to dispel that confusion and really educate people on what they could do, we got a lot of people to not only apply for the PPP, but there was a small business Tarrant County grant that a lot of people were able to take advantage of too. And so that really helped them. And people talk a lot about politics and Congress and this big divide and everything. Well, I can tell you the CARES Act was one of those bipartisan acts of Congress that everybody worked on together that made a huge difference for small business owners. A lot of them would not have been able to weather the storm without it.
Absolutely, and I love the way you you pay special attention to your members. You make a lot of videos. I encourage my audience to start liking and subscribing on your Facebook page, because you're producing a lot of content. Here's one of my favorite videos you produced recently.
The Second Glance Thrift Shop is an awesome place to come in to find treasures. If you're looking for some of those vintage items or unique items that you'd like around your home, this is a great place to come. It also has some great clothing finds and awesome furniture.
The Second Glance store has impacted our community because it gives them affordable household goods and clothing. It also brings in revenue for the CDC to help our bigger mission.
We run this store through volunteers, and so we're always looking for people who have a little bit of time to share with us. And also, this is a great place to donate your items. We would love to have you come by, either volunteer, donate your stuff, stick around and find your treasure.
Just so excited to be here today, and you can see what a great crowd we have. Everybody just loves the efforts that you guys put forth, so thank you.
So we talked about the networking, but I love it that you're always educating small business owners, because when you start a business, sometimes it can get lonely, and learning from others with more information and more knowledge is critical to the success of a small business.
Yeah, that's something we've really done by design. We have a quarterly business workshop where we're taking topics that we think can help people with their businesses and offering them up for free to members. We've got a weekly Toastmasters group where they can work on their public speaking. We've got a couple networking groups where people come together all the time to build their relationships. We've got senior services, we have home services. So we try to give a lot of opportunities where people can come together, but always learn something as well. And we think it makes a difference.
And you're in a very vibrant part of North Texas. Tell us the communities you represent.
Oh yeah, well, Northeast Tarrant County is where our chamber is, and that includes the third largest city in Tarrant County, which is North Richland Hills, Watauga, Haltom City. We've got a lot of members in that kind of North Fort Worth area along I-35, and then a lot, throughout the H.E.B. Keller areas as well. But our core cities are the North Richland Hills, Haltom City, and Watauga. And it's a pretty special place because there's a lot of new development going on along there. We've got the North Tarrant Express, which is that public-private highway that runs from 35 to DFW, and that caused some really nice economic development to happen there. And then also Tex Rail comes right through there with some stops. So we're seeing a lot of houses being built around those train stops. A lot of things that we were talking about 4 years ago that were going to provide some tremendous economic development are all happening now. So it's a really great time. We were able to recover, I think, even quicker from the pandemic because of the type of area that we have there in Northeast Tarrant County.
Yes, and you attract some really great people. I had a chance to not only speak, but I hung around afterwards and visited, and I can tell you, every single one of the members I met, just outstanding people.
Well, I'm a small town guy myself. I'm from a small town in Illinois, and so when I came from the corporate world myself, ad director at D Magazine, and worked for the Star Telegram, had my own agency and some other companies like that. And so when I was looking at this position and looking at the area and meeting the people, it really had that small town. It's a great area, kind of some very, very nice cities and a great area, but just still kind of had that small town feel that I really liked and was looking for to kind of cure me of my time in corporate America.
And Jack is the ultimate nice guy, and I think it takes not only a nice guy, but a strong leader to lead an organization like yours through the pandemic. I mean, there's no playbook for the pandemic, so take me back to the early days when you had to go virtual, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a lot of virtual. We had to learn a lot about Zoom, which at first I was like, no, I just don't really want to do it. Then I realized a day later that we really had to do it. And so a lot of our luncheons went virtual, all our networking went virtual because we didn't know what was happening. I mean, there were times there when they were talking about maybe an 8%, death rate from the pandemic. So there was just a lot of, people didn't know. And when there's a lot of confusion, then it makes for an uncertain business climate. And so we knew we had to really wait it out, help each other, trying to be each other's advocates, and as a chamber, we just had to really put the information out there to help all the time. And so that's what we tried to do. And I'm a huge fan of small business people and business people everywhere because, like I said, they put it on the line every day to serve their communities. And then we think about last year, of course, Amazon, all the big companies, their profits went through the roof, right? And you didn't want to leave the house. It was just easier to order from Amazon. Well, I'm asking your viewers and asking everybody who happens to hear this podcast to really think about Small Business Saturday and what you can do. Maybe you want a product and you're thinking about ordering it on Amazon. Well, is it available locally anywhere? Think about the businesses that are out there and what they put money into the school district.
Yes.
They put money into their communities. They have homes in these communities. And they're the ones I really want you to think about when you think about Small Business Saturdays. How can I help them? Maybe I don't need to order everything off Amazon. Maybe I can get that product at the local hardware store or one of the other stores in the area.
We've got about a minute left. When you shop local, the money stays local.
Yeah. And that's huge. So, when we think about small business a lot of times turns into big business, right? If you think about some of the small business entrepreneurs that, you think about Steve Jobs or Henry Ford or that person that started a company in their garage and then became a huge success. That's another reason to support small business because innovation, jobs, a lot of times it's coming from small business. So I just say it's Small Business Saturday is coming up. Really think about those small businesses and how you can support them.
Jack Bradshaw, President and CEO of the Northeast Tarrant Chamber. We're going to end with the website, which is netarrant.org. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Jeff, thank you for having me.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.